Hey guys, JSimLady here. Welcome back. Today I'm working on this very adorable little fairy cottage inspired wooded house because it's in a semi-wooded area of Paralives. So let's get into that speed build. I saw this lot and immediately I felt like I needed to build a little fairy cottage here. I tried all week last week, but as I mentioned in several places, several different times, my computer was in the shop. I don't know if we found the problem or not. Initially, I thought the problem was with the graphics card. It turns out there was nothing wrong with the graphics card. Then I thought maybe it was the power supply unit, especially since I had the computer sitting on the floor for the first year that I had it. And we have two dogs. So, and they walked right past it. Like, literally, it was sitting within their reach that my Boston Terrier range, she would sometimes walk up and lick the front of it. So it was full of dirt and dog hair. But the only thing that could be found was that some of the operating system files had become corrupted. I don't know if that was like the only issue or we if I use it for a while and the issue will come back again. I guess we'll find out. I've been using it for a little over 24 hours now, I think. When did I pick it up? No, today is Sunday. So, and we picked it up Friday. So it's been, yeah, I've been using it for a little over 24 hours now. And so far it's running perfectly. So maybe it just needed to be dusted out and defurred. And those corrupted files just needed to be fixed. They found nothing else. No malware, no viruses, which is great. It means my paranoia has been serving me well. But I don't know. The only thing I can think of is there were a couple of times when a game, and I don't remember which game it was now, but a game froze up and I literally couldn't do anything. And I was so angry, like so frustrated, that I just shut the computer off. And this happened a couple of times. So I'm thinking maybe what happened was it wasn't completely frozen. It just appeared to be frozen for whatever reason. And I shut it off while it was doing something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Or it could have been a Windows update that messed everything up. I don't know. We may never know, but it's fixed now. So, and it's working perfectly. But that did not make a building in Paralives any easier. This game is most definitely in early access. I do hope that they change some things to make it a little bit easier as time goes on. Also, yes, I did place 3 window boxes there, only to come back much later after doing all this work that you're seeing here and realize that I could have just placed 1 window box and stretched it. I fixed that in a minute, don't worry. I didn't leave it with 3 window boxes overlapping each other, but yeah, it's not easy to build in right now, and there are a lot of glitches, but it is very early access. Like, it is very much still in development. I would say if I had to, oh, see here, this is where I fix it. But I would say if I had to venture a guess that this is like the earliest point that they could have put it out into the world to allow everybody to play it. You know what I mean? I have feelings about early access stuff. I think in some cases it can be okay, and in some cases it's a really bad idea. For instance, with Zoe, I think maybe it was potentially a bad idea. But with Paralives, they've been working on it for so long now that I can see why they felt the pressure to release in early access this early in the development, if that makes sense. I know I just said that they've been working on it a really long time, but they built this game. How do I explain this? In the early stages, it was basically one person building a life simulation game, one of the most difficult games to build, if not the most difficult game type to build, on his own. So, of course, it took a really long time, and I can see why everyone was getting antsy for access and why they really wanted to get this game out into the world. As you can see, I had to erase the grass basically there around the edges because there is a ton of clipping happening. But even that did not get rid of the my lower level is built into the side of the hill, which is fantastic. I wish we had that in The Sims 4. But you can see the edges of the ground poking through the walls, if that makes sense. There's clipping there happening. So that I couldn't get rid of. And in some areas, it's definitely more noticeable than other areas. Do I recommend buying Paralives right now? This is a difficult question. Here's the thing. They have Paralives at the cheapest price that they will ever have it right now. I think it's somewhere around $36 or something like that. And I think you get that price if you have certain other games. I think people that don't have those certain other games have to pay a little bit more even, but I'm not sure. I don't remember now. I didn't pay super attention to it, but it is the cheapest it will ever be. The owner of the studio, what's the name of the studio? Why can't I remember? Anyways, the guy running the show said when it is fully released, the price is gonna go up. And probably not by a small amount either. It'll probably double. They have committed to doing DLC for free for the life of this game. They're gonna have to make their money somewhere. They're not gonna keep growing in players exponentially forever. They're gonna level out at some point. Even the Sims franchise leveled out at some point. There are only so many new players you can bring in. So, they're gonna have to make their money somehow. And, they will probably either increase the base game price as time goes on or have some kind of paid something, some kind of paid DLC of some type, even if it's not paid expansion packs. You know what I'm saying? Like, most games realize very quickly they can't just give games away and expect to be sustainable forever. So, in that respect, if you can wait it out and are fine with learning a decidedly more difficult building system than any of the Sims games has ever had, because yes, there are a ton of options And there are things that you can do in this game that you can't do in other life simulation games easily, specifically the Sims games. And they're just baked into the basic, like, base game. They're not cheats, they're not mods, they are baked right into the game. But that also makes it a more difficult system to learn because most new starting out builders and stuff aren't going to want or need all those options. And it's difficult. Like this bar of soap, for example, I thought I sat it on the countertop. You watched me drag it over as a fresh new object out of the catalog and set it on the countertop, but for some reason it was floating way above, and I had to try to figure out how to line it up with the countertop myself. Because there is some snapping, but there's not a lot of snapping. And so you just have to try to figure these things out yourself. Does that make sense? So if you're fine with that, if you're fine with a completely different, arguably more difficult building system, and you're willing to wait out what could be another couple of years before it's in full release, like it's a completed game, then absolutely buy the game now. If you really, really want this game, your best bet is to buy it now while it's at its cheapest price. Because it's only going to go up from here. And the longer you wait, the higher it's going to go, is my guess. My guess is at full release, it's probably going to be a $60 game, give or take. And after that, they might not charge for the DLCs, but they will probably raise the prices every couple of years for the base game. Or they will have a marketplace with stuff that you can buy. Or I don't even know. I don't know all the different models out there for getting. I guess Minecraft does it, and they're still sustainable. Why was that so hard to say? Every now and again, I do stutter. Funny story, I never stuttered ever in my life. I did not have a stutter as a child, never had a stutter. I don't know if it's my neuropathy or my dry mouth or because of when it started. It was because of the amount of stress that I was under. But around 2018, I developed a severe stutter. Like, I could barely speak without stuttering massively. And it lasted probably for 6 months to a year. And then it started to kind of taper off a little bit, but every now and then, especially when my mouth gets really dry, which is because of my neurological condition, I start to stutter again. So I don't know what the cause of it is, but my severely dry mouth does not help. That is for sure. But anyways, I totally lost my train of thought. I think I said my piece on it. If you already love this game and you're willing to wait it out and you're willing to learn a more difficult building system, then go for it. Buy it now. That is my thoughts. But that's really only looking at the building aspect of it, not the live mode aspect. I haven't really played in live mode yet much because my laptop could not record. I could play it on my laptop, but I couldn't record playing it on my laptop because my laptop couldn't handle doing having the game running and having OBS recording at the same time. So I didn't get to play it much, but from what I hear so far, it's very, very extremely limited. But I'm definitely gonna do a little more live mode and then maybe make another recommendation as a live mode player. But right now, as a build mode player, yes, definitely buy it now because, again, for the 10th time, it's literally the cheapest you will ever be able to buy it at. So if you ever think you might want this game at some point in the future and you have the money, buy it. Buy it right now. I am a little annoyed and sad that a lot of these objects you can only, like, the pattern is there. Those curtains, that checkered rug, the pattern is there already. You can't change the pattern, which is really weird. You can change the color, and there's a color wheel for color, but you can't change the pattern. And you can't take a blank wall or a blank curtain or a blank rug and add your own pattern to it. You have plain and you have patterned items of that nature: walls, floors, curtains, rugs. And you can change the colors as you've been watching. You can change a lot of the different colors, but you can't change the pattern. Now, some of them I understand, but then they should give us one option of one rug, one wall, one flooring, where we can change the pattern ourselves on that one piece and change the colors to whatever we want. You know what I mean? It, to me, there are also with the furniture pieces, that's the other one. There are furniture pieces like this couch where you can't change the pattern. You can change the color, but the patterns on the fabric are just already there. However, in a second here, I'm going to place a chair, and that chair you can change the pattern of. So it's a little weird. There doesn't seem to be, not that chair, a different chair. I placed down a different chair in a minute. But there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to which items. Oh, I guess you can change the texture of this chair. I thought it was a different chair. But anyways, point is, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to which items you can change the pattern on and which ones you can't, which is kind of annoying. But here's the thing. Every game I've ever played has its annoyances. It's up to the game maker what things they want and don't want and the direction they want their game to go in. And if I don't like it, I don't have to play. I can go play a different game. So I try not to complain about that kind of stuff too much because I just don't see the point. There are things in every game that annoy me, but what's the point in complaining? Why not move on to something else that I enjoy better? You know what I'm saying? So now that I got my good computer, not that my laptop's not a good computer, it is still running. Despite the fact that it is 6 years old, the hard drive has been failing for the last 4 years, supposedly. I keep getting warnings that the hard drive is failing, and yet it's still running. Everything is still running on it. The case is coming apart at the seams, and it's still running. So it's not a bad computer. It just can't handle much anymore. I could just dump it, take everything off of it and dump it and reinstall Windows and see if that helps. But I think it was a Windows 10 computer. And so I would have to install Windows 10 and then upgrade to Windows 11 again. And the last time I did that on that laptop, it contributed to some of the issues I had. So it definitely was not built to be a Windows 10 laptop, or a Windows 11 laptop, I mean, because it just, Windows 11 took up a lot more space, is part of the problem. and that laptop does not have a ton of space on it. So it's not a bad computer, it's just an old computer, and it's definitely showing its age. But now that I have the big, newer gaming computer back, I can do videos more regularly and I can live stream. I can live stream again. I will not be able to live stream on Thursdays. Is it Thursdays? I don't know. Let me think for a minute. I will publish my stream schedule in my Discord and on all three of my YouTube channels as soon as I know when I can start live streaming. I have to work around my daughter's school schedule. And we're coming up on the end of the year, so I'm gonna move into summer mode, and I'm gonna probably live stream once she's done with school for the year. I'm probably gonna live stream like 2 o'clock Central Time in the afternoon to like, I don't know, maybe 2 to 5 in the afternoon. That seems like a reasonable time period, right? A 3 hour stream from 2 to 5. I think that would work. But that's gotta wait a couple more weeks till school gets out for the summer. I don't even know how long it is, but I know it's at least a couple of weeks until school gets out for the summer. And then I will see what the schedule looks like for next year, next school year, and come fall, I will figure out probably a new stream schedule. Probably going back to streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then Saturday mornings around 10 a.m. or so. Yeah, somewhere around there. But that's the plan for now. Obviously, my life is very chaotic and busy, being disabled and having a child with a disability and everything. Life gets pretty busy and chaotic, so sometimes I just have to play it by ear, but I will definitely be live streaming again. And for sure, I'm gonna do a test stream this week to test everything out and make sure everything is going good. So look for that on Twitch. We are almost done with the speed build portion. I'll explain a little bit more about the actual house itself when we get into the walkthrough portion. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see me stream some Paralives. There are some pretty funny and chaotic things in this game, even with it being limited like it is. I found that out in my one and only live mode video so far. There are some pretty hilarious things. I was worried that this game was gonna be a very serious, very stuffy life simulation, just based on what little we saw leading up to this. And frankly, I did judge a book by its cover, and I saw the art styles that they used, and I thought that it was gonna be kind of boring. But it's not. There is some fun and chaotic things happening already in this game. So I would love to live stream that if that's something you want to see. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have you tried this game? What do you think of the build mode? I find it somewhat difficult. I love that we have so many options, but I also found it very difficult to get used to using all those different options. And I don't like that you have to, after you place an item, you can't just click on the item and pick it back up again. I'm pretty sure that's how The Sims 4 works, but in this game you actually have to go down to the items menu at the bottom and click on the move icon, which just adds a lot more time to the build if you change your mind about where you want it placed, because there's all that extra clicking and stuff. That's another thing that I'm annoyed about. But, anyways, let me know down in the comments if you've tried it and how you like it, and whether you've tried live mode or not. So far, I really am enjoying the game. I swear. It really is an interesting game. I still do not love the art style. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So, on the screen, and when you're looking at screenshots, the the para folks being stickers on a 3D background can be very annoying, but when you're in playing the game, a lot of times it's not nearly as noticeable as it is when you're just looking at someone else's video, or when you're looking at screenshots. That's what I was trying to think of, looking at screenshots. When you're actually in playing, it's definitely a lot less noticeable that they are more or less stickers, flat 2D characters stuck on a 3D background. There are some instances where they do, because they have that sticker quality to them. There are some instances where they do look like they're not fully connected to the world, so that's a little bit annoying. But other than that, for the most part, it's okay. It's not terrible. I don't love it. Anyways, we're done with the speed build portion. Let's get into the walkthrough. And there you have it. So here's the front of the house. Again, like The Sims 4, since you can see the whole world around you, I don't personally feel like every single lot needs a massive landscaping around it. In this case, this lot fits perfectly with very minimal landscaping among the trees. And I like that. That's my style. So let's go inside and take a look around if we can. I do not like The Sims 4 camera controls, that is for sure. I am a Sims 3 girly all the way. So, here is the kitchen. I might have overcluttered it a little bit too much, but their kitchen decor is so cute, especially for a little wooded cottage like this. Everything fits so perfectly, and it is kind of the aesthetic of this game, so it kind of makes sense, you know? I do hope they add some modern touches, some more modern touches in the future, and some maybe transitional, modern, traditional stuff. But most of it right now is very cottagey. And I think that's just what inspired this cottage, honestly. So here's, oop, yeah, there's a lot of glitches. This is the living room. And I tried to stick with a white, green, yellow, and blue color scheme because I just felt like those went really, excuse me, camera, really well together in this cottage inspired build. We've got some cute art. I will be making art, I swear. I know I said that for House Flipper, and now I need to also do it for this game. So I will definitely be getting on making some art here soon. Here is the bathroom. It's just a little downstairs powder room for, yeah, I can't control this camera, I'm sorry, for guests mainly, I guess, and for when you're downstairs doing stuff. Let's go upstairs. Maybe someday I'll get a better hang of this camera. As you can, oh, I forgot to mention that. As you can see, there's a little bit wall glitching going on here. That's okay. It's still in early access. Also, I could not put a railing here because of the way, and you saw this during the speed build, and I talked about it a little bit during the speed build as well, because of the way I built this, and then I wanted to extend this down here like this. Every time I tried to put the railing there, it broke the floor, so that was fun. The primary or parents' bedroom, I have no idea if they can actually use it. It is a pretty tight squeeze. But I was just building this to play around with all the new features, and I wasn't thinking in terms of actual playability. Then we have a child's bedroom here in all red, and then a nursery here in all blue. I have no particular reason why I did this for the children's rooms, other than we have very limited options right now. There's not. Okay, there is a ton of stuff for an early release base game, but there's just not a lot of kid related stuff, and there's not a lot of cutesy stuff other than a bunch of toys. So, yeah, I did what I could with what I had, and then we were left with this weird, awkward space here with a giant window in it. So, we have a very long, weird, awkward bathroom. I could not find any hanging towels. I spent the longest time looking for hung up towels. There are none. There are things like pads and tampons, but there are no hung up towels. Yeah, I find that a bit odd because most of the time you put tabs and tampons? No, pads and tampons inside your cupboard, and you don't just generally leave them sitting on the shelves or, the sink all the time, whereas hanging towels are out. So I feel like that should have been the priority and the other stuff should have been added later, but I don't know. I'm not making the game. But yeah, anyways, there is the weirdly long bathroom. That's just the way it ended up because of the way everything was situated. And I tried to make it a fairly small house as well. So there you have it, my first time building in Paralives. I think it turned out really cute considering how hard I struggled. And there were still so many things that I didn't add and include that I absolutely could have and probably should have, but I was just playing around. So hopefully you enjoy it anyways. Whoa, camera, chill. On that note, I am gonna leave this video here. If you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.